Widow is out for blood. MK finds out the truth, and we got some weird foreplay going on. Stay tuned after that intro.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
That was hell. Hello, AfterBuzzers. Welcome back to the Into the Badlands after show here on AfterBuzz TV. I'm your host, Alexis Torres. I know that this is a little bit different from JB's face, but I promise you'll see him later. To introduce these awesome people, please say your name from my far left, down in there.
What is up, AfterBuzzers? It is. I'm sorry, far left though.
That's you.
Okay,
That's you.
I was like, she's
You're
like,
my far left.
I was like,
Far left.
all right,
to go.
Yeah, far left.
It's your boy Jay Yang.
Woo!
So super excited to be here and talk about this crazy episode.
Yes.
Hey guys, I'm Joelle Monique, doing the things.
I'm so happy that you're here.
Me too. I really love this show. I've been wanting to be on the after panel for a long time.
Yes.
This is a great episode to come in on.
I have things to talk about. JB is coming in a little late, but don't worry about it. He's going to slip in on that couch, and I cannot wait to hear what he has to say about this episode.
And this music. What are we listening to?
I thought it was the opening, no?
It really kind of sounds like an ice
Like
cream.
Oh, I was going to say
Like
our fifth co-host, Tony.
Hey, who messed up the intro apparently? Because I typed in Badlands theme and I forgot the into the. So this is a Badlands theme.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like
Okay.
an ice cream truck, like
It's very
rolling by.
tropical and fun, I guess.
was
I
like,
mean, that's where Badgie wants to be right now.
That's where Badgie
Is it a-
deserves
Exactly.
to be.
I think it works though.
Sure, I'm okay with it. If you guys are joining us for the first time, we're live. We have a live chat, so go ahead and tune into that and tell us what you thought about this episode and what is coming up for these next one, because I don't really know where this story is going, and I don't like it. I don't
like it a whole
like change. But also, if you're watching later, go ahead and put your comments down below and let us know what you guys think of this episode. So, episode 2, overall thoughts. Please tell me. Go.
Oh my
Go.
God.
Go.
Kinky cultists.
No, I don't know what's
kinky,
happening.
Kinky what?
Because
Cultists.
the way that the air was around the two of them, it felt like that there was going to be some weird
It was a
sexual
little sexual. It was
sacrifice.
a little sexual.
But then it was, and then she like undid her. We'll get into Azra later, but like I
Talking
just.
about.
I thought there was a
Talking
kiss
about
on
the
the
program?
lips, some blood exchange.
Yeah.
I still think we could veer into sexual territory.
No, you're right.
It was definitely all like very sensual,
Yeah.
like ritual play going
Yeah.
on.
It was very like
I was-
ritualistic.
You know what? No, F
Yeah.
this. We're gonna get into it. So
Yeah.
Azra. Whoa. Okay, so Pilgrim, they finally got to this location, which would the last time we saw it, it was in this island, just randomly in the middle of nowhere. And I don't really know how to describe this location because it looks like a castle, right?
Yeah.
But there's also very, what's the term? Like Japanese traditional.
It's kind of got like
like
an ancient like temple.
Yeah,
to it.
okay.
You
Is
know
it-
what I was thinking? I think I took it as like an amalgamation of like the previous world. All like pretty much it's like a time capsule of trying to save everything from the previous world in this one location.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
thought it
possible-
might be like a museum.
Yeah, like it's possible there's a
Oh,
bunch
that
of
makes
them
sense.
like
Yeah.
set up throughout the Badlands to try to preserve like the old world
Yeah.
history in a sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially
'cause-
because it's like an ashram. Like, it's a
Yeah.
good place to study. It's got like fortified walls. It's safe. Lots of water around. It's gonna be hard to attack. It makes sense.
Yeah, and it was very, very interesting too because the fact that we had a lot of old stuff, but we also had a lot of not like super modern, but the fact that we had, I don't know if anyone else had this when they were growing up.
The
little-
viewfinder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we got to see our normal stuff. You saw the Statue of Liberty. We saw, I think it was a Taj Mahal and things like that. But then we also got to see Azra as well. So I was like, where? Are we still looking at viewfinder in the future also? Like that's still a part of it, or is it like completely different paths?
Well,
like,
now you have to wonder. It makes the timeline janky. Like, is Azra a thing that? Because I always pictured Azra as like a middle point, right?
Yeah.
As from our world, and Azra was built, and then years after destruction. But perhaps Azra was a city that existed
For a
in
long
our
time.
time,
Yeah,
our
yeah.
time, and then destruction, and now we're here, which makes it really interesting. The idea of like. Because they keep saying, like, what did they do and where did they go?
and
It
the
kinda-
old world too.
Yeah.
It's funny because when I watch this show, I try to draw parallels to other things, and I feel like a lot of this show has a lot of Matrix parallels. Whether it's the kung fu, whether it's the fact that like Azra kind of reminds me of Zion. Like,
Okay.
They keep on kind of searching for like this one city, and in the Matrix is the last free city where everyone wasn't unplugged.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of curious to see like what other parallels they're going to draw with this. Because last week I basically said, it's kind of Mortal Kombat themes going on with like the garb or just like the factions, and kind of doing all this. So pretty interesting to see what other parallels I'm going to come up with.
Yeah, it's just very interesting because my timeline is now completely warped, and I don't know specifically where we are or location either. Because at first I thought we were in kind of Asia, or maybe even like a border of Europe and Asia, somewhere like in that spectrum. But now it's kind of like, I don't know.
It's so interesting because it kind of has that old school feel. So I'm thinking of it's like a feudal time, but they have like modern cars. They have like modern motorcycles.
It's established that it's a world that's post our world pretty much.
Yes, for sure.
The chat was saying that they do shoot in I believe it was Ireland.
Yes, Joelle was just telling
They
us
shoot
earlier.
in Ireland, London, and in New Orleans.
Yeah, but I was thinking like I don't think that really matters as pertaining to the mythology of this.
No, I
world.
know. I'm a lore builder as a person who like plays tabletop games and stuff. I want to know what the world is just for my own thing. It's bothering me.
I mean, we just got a map of just only the Badlands.
and it doesn't really show us anything.
I want a world map now.
Yes, correct. Exactly. I want a book. I want the encyclopedia. I just want to look through it and just and play the tabletop game. But yeah, so Pilgrim is worrying about Castor because he's having a hard time because I'm assuming that it's killing him, the gift that he has, because we can see that his veins are kind of turning black, and we don't really know what's going on with that.
Wasn't it established in the previous seasons that when they use that power,
it weakens them.
It takes out of their life force in total. So
yeah,
everyone, we have to stop. Latoya Morgan is in the chat. Hi, Latoya. She's a writer for Into the Badlands.
Oh my God, hello.
Latoya, what's up?
She's setting us right. She says it's set in America.
Yay!
No one can do it anymore. Thank you, Latoya, for setting us right. I really appreciate you.
Latoya, girl, embrace me like a brother. Come here. Give me some love. I need to know these things.
For all you wondering, it's in America.
Okay, well that helps because I just need to know like specifically where we are, what cultures that we're throwing. Like it's a lot. Okay,
It is a lot.
It really places me exactly what's happening. So thank you so much. But yeah, so it's very interesting because we haven't really seen like a complete example of someone who is dying from this gift. So it's very interesting. I mean, besides the fact that we know that Sunny's son is getting sick from it because he's so young. So there's that kind of, but it's interesting. Do we think that Castor's going to live?
I think one of the two will die.
I mean, yeah, assuming.
Castor's going to die eventually. How soon is definitely being called into question. And I feel like Pilgrim might, I feel like he's the kind of person who takes his promises very seriously. And he made a promise. She's saying, you got too attached.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe he's going to try to pull something out of his hat. I hope we have him for at least 3 more episodes.
Yeah, I need Pilgrim to stop pulling on anything because he's giving me heart palpitations in this episode. Like, for real.
I need Pilgrim to show me how to slit his lip and make out with his chick. Because that is probably the craziest thing I've seen, and I was like, okay, well, maybe not the craziest.
Yeah,
but I was like, it's pretty kinky because that scene, it was kind of got she's like sticking with the hooks. I was like, kind of got a Hellraiser, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Sauce / I'm like, okay.
I mean,
kinky stuff, man.
Whatever you're into is whatever you're into. No judgment here. But at the same time, I'm like, girl, you need your shoulders. Stop this.
Look, suspension is real. I've seen it in person. It's soup's disturbing.
Just a bit.
But what I was really intrigued by was that sense of euphoria, this idea of like getting high off of pain in order to be more connected to a higher power is not reduced to one singular religion. We see it across multiple religions.
Yes.
And so I thought that was an interesting way of her kind of coming into her power, or letting us see like what kind of power she has. I think when we think witch, we think very mystical and otherworldly. As idea that's very bound in blood, bone, and pain. It's fascinating.
Literally in that order.
Literally in that order.
And the idea that she's like so connected to she looked like an angel, and we got that quote from Banji earlier, Banji, about like I was looking for an angel to come and like save us. So we're starting to see some potential parallels between
shout outs to the writers
between the religions. Latoya in the chat, hey.
No, for real.
Shout outs to the writers for that. I think you guys did that on purpose.
But you know who's also?
Oh, real quick, she confirmed that you are absolutely right about the ritual.
Yeah.
Boom.
You can hire me as a writer, Latoya.
Do it. Please take her. She's amazing.
Today.
But you know who's also the angel, especially of this podcast, who shouldn't be sacrificing anything on his body? JB.
Yeah, JB. You beat that LA traffic.
Yeah, there was craziness in LA today, but made it. You guys are talking about the end scene, it sounds like.
Yes.
I mean, a lot of religious symbolism, obviously. It definitely looked painful, but she took it like a champ. I mean,
Like a champ. Like a woman in love.
right? I mean,
Woman in love.
I was like, I would
like
not.
that phrase, but
Just the hooks on the.
Line and sinker, literally.
Oh, stop this!
I don't want to know.
Where's the stop button? Stop.
Yeah, I just meant that she's very badass to like
Yes.
withstand that kind of pain.
Very badass
true.
in the Badlands.
Right, and it seemed to have worked. I mean, obviously we didn't see anything, but she seemed to, and I don't know if that was like a hallucination because she was in like such extreme pain. But
I didn't even think about that.
We're probably gonna have to figure out like for the rest of the season.
Right.
You know, we're gonna watch the episodes after this to see what you saw.
I just don't know how you deal with that after. Like, I just thinking about it. I'm just like, I would just be like, okay, I'm just gonna lay here forever and never move. Take care of my things.
It's like every other high. It's got a crescendo peak and a downfall. So you go into repair. It looks like she's been stitched up a couple of times for people who do suspension. In real life, it's a lot of aftercare. It's like,
I'm like, girl.
lots of alcohol. Let's clean that up. Let's make sure you have
the
good
gauze
clean
out.
stitches, all that jazz.
But I'm also really intrigued to find out how. I mean, it seems like obviously she's calling the shots, but I'm also very intrigued to see how far Pilgrim is willing to go because of the fact that he had to kill his own just to set an example. So I thought that also how powerful Pilgrim is.
Oh my God.
right,
Really
awesome.
intrigues me. Yeah. When he was just like full on
The
like
whole blind faith thing was like probably the coolest thing. You know, and he basically had, essentially what he said to his followers was just kind of like, all you have to do is basically trust.
Right.
trust
I mean,
in
but
my
I mean
faith
that's
and all
also very religious.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Extremely
heavy religion
religious.
undertones, obviously, and overtones as well.
No,
Straight up tones.
Yeah, just a tone.
But yeah, I really liked that scene because it was almost, I mean, for me at least, even though he was like, it looked like he was very confident about what he was doing. I mean, I don't think anybody would just like blindfold themselves, like thinking that there was a chance, especially when he was taking on multiple guys. That being said, like his actual lines I thought were pretty powerful, being like, if I led you to doubt, then I actually like need to convince myself that I'm still on the right path.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Black
And also-
Magic 99, I'm so sorry, says Pilgrim's Daredevil scene was dope. And I just really appreciate that.
The
reference.
Daredevil scene.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is
Yeah.
Exactly.
It is.
I think the one quote that stuck out with me, and shout out to the writers, is a man is only as strong as his faith, which is kind of like the overall like arching theme that I've seen in this episode, which is so much about Pilgrim and just kind of like his faith.
I have a question for you guys. Would you follow Pilgrim? Does this display of power and faith would it turn you? Would you re-believe?
That's a great question. I mean, initially I want to say no, but if I was someone that had only seen Pilgrim in terms of like displaying that kind of power, it'd be hard not to.
Yeah.
I mean, like the dude fought and killed like 4 dudes blindfolded
Now I believe.
with
Now I
no
believe. Now I
weapons.
believe.
It's hard to say anything else. And like, aside from religion, I think we won't get too deep into
of
politics,
course.
but like, when there's a lot of blame on political views and stuff, it's usually because, those people were only exposed to that kind of framework and that kind of those ideas.
Yeah.
So it's hard to kind of, I mean, unless they're very well traveled, if they've, they're from a small town or something, and that's all of a sudden you see some dude that like flies or displays some magic ability. I think it'd be really hard to look the other way.
Also, he's a great wordsmith.
He is.
He's like borderline prophetic. I got some very Jesus-y vibes out of there. I would follow him. Also, he's hot, so.
I mean, yeah.
I think the only person I follow is Sonny. Shout out to Daniel Wu. He's the only person I shout out to. The baddest clipper in the land.
Always shoving you off, though.
Baddest clipper in the
Sonny would be
land.
like, don't follow me.
I would love to be his Colt.
Right.
So, if the whole MK thing doesn't work out, if you need a Colt, let me know.
See, I would be in the middle. I feel like I would follow him, but as soon as I found an opportunity to get out, I'd go. Like, just like full blown, like hauling ass.
So you're an opportunist. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like Badgie. I'm like, oh, there's an out. Bye, guys.
Later.
Deuces.
I love that we have a sixth person today. Latoya says there are a lot
Latoya's a writer on.
Oh, nice.
So she's in the chat.
What?
So she's in the
Yes,
chat. Yeah.
I love that.
So she's commenting on this conversation, and she says there are a lot of people who follow charismatic leaders, some of whom turn out to be crazy. Oh, yeah,
Interesting. Where have we seen that before?
Never.
Somewhere
Never
on Twitter,
heard
I'm
of it,
sure.
Latoya.
Interesting.
Never heard of it.
What was interesting, though, I thought of of Pilgrim is he was so convinced, and even after that display of power, he kind of which was his own test, he still had doubts, and he had to go and kind of have another consult to be reaffirmed, right before obviously the angel scene we were talking about. So that was really interesting that he acknowledged his own doubts in his faith, and I think obviously talking about faith, everybody needs constant reminders.
Yeah.
Even the ones that we follow and that are supposed to have all the answers. I thought that was a really cool, humanized moment where he revealed some weakness a little bit because until now he's been shrouded in mystery.
Yeah.
Real quick, piggybacking off what he just said, I gotta agree with everything you just said, JB.
Thank you.
I wanted to bring that up too because it makes him so much more interesting. And personally, I love people. I love characters that are able to recognize their own faults within themselves. And in a sense, I think that makes them the most strongest characters because they know their own weaknesses and they're able to address it themselves rather than have an external force, exploit it and use it against them. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. But yeah, it's I cannot wait to see what the resolve is because clearly we can tell that she's running the show, and we can already tell from Pilgrim's kind of point of view that he might be wavering, not completely because obviously he's very loyal, but I feel like because they're not foundation, but it could be kind of shaky. But I feel like she's she's running the show. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. The dynamic became a lot more clear. Because we were always following Pilgrim, but now we kind of realize that she's actually the teacher.
Yes. Yeah. I like that she's the leader. It's cool. It's cool beans.
I feel like that's the great thing about the show is there's so many strong female characters. And speaking of strong female characters, Maria Menounos.
Yeah.
Want to have fun, learn, and grow in all areas of your life? For those who do, have we got the podcast for you. Conversations with Maria Menounos Podcast Edition is hosted by our very own AfterBuzz TV founder and drops every Friday on iTunes. Conversations with Maria Menounos features celebrity and influencer interviews, along with secrets and tips on how to be better in all aspects of life, from health and wellness to career, relationships, finance, and more. Let our Maria be the big sister you've always wanted, because I've always wanted a big sister. Just go to iTunes and subscribe to Conversations with Maria Menounos for free, and be sure to rate and comment. And when you do, let Maria know that it was the AfterBuzz Into the Badlands AfterBuzz panel that sent you there. So Conversations with Maria Menounos Podcast Edition, check it out.
Awesome
Nice.
sauce.
Yeah, definitely check that out.
Speaking of more really awesome females in this show, Widow is
God, I love her, dude.
she's
I
just
just
she's just nailing it, I feel.
her.
But at the same time, also I'm really worried about you though, girl. Just a little bit. A little bit. And the fact that she does not have control over MK at all.
She's trying to.
Yeah.
Right.
Trying to. Can we talk about our new regent?
Well, yeah, that's what. I was about to get into that. But yeah, so Moon. I love his new hand. That's pretty dope.
Pretty sweet. I mean, that
cool.
battle was so bad. I mean, even before he used it, the Moon is such a badass because clearly the hand is very cool because it fires little mini darts.
Darts and has a blade
awesome.
and knuckles.
Yeah.
But he again just confident in his abilities was I don't even need a sword. MK, let's go.
It was very like teacher versus student. It was very like Obi-Wan versus like Luke Skywalker.
I mean, you were just talking about the Matrix. You didn't. When he stuck out his hand, I was like, "Are we gonna get it?"
Yeah, I thought he was gonna do it.
But
I feel like
area breathing.
Awesome.
But I feel like if he did that, one of the darts would have flown off.
I thought he was literally gonna go like that, but
kills him.
I was like, oh wait, he can't move his hand.
He's got
But it kind of shows you to see how far MK's gone. Because before he was this little kind of unsure of himself, but now he's no, I can take you on. I got you.
I mean,
like, I got this.
we've had a little bit of time, but also I
Yeah.
feel like if he was more on his game, he would be more sharper with his fighting style and things like that. But he's definitely improved quite a bit since the last time we really
pretty
saw
good for
him.
a guy who's suffering from opium addiction, and I think it was just withdrawals, because I feel like that's all he really cared about. He's like, if I beat him, like, you're gonna give me my opium, right? So like, he didn't even seem like he really wanted to fight. He's like, okay, I'll do this, but you know, like an addiction, like I will do this if you give me what I want.
It hurts to see MK this way a little bit, you know? I mean, but I also feel like he hasn't really had a good time since we've been introduced to him.
Right, yeah, I mean,
Like,
it's been a
at
rough
all.
road. It's definitely been a rough
For 3
road.
seasons
Since,
now.
I mean, the entire time. I mean, in kind of bringing that back up even more so as we learn through the flashback that or the drug-induced flashback. Flashback, sort of dreamscape. I don't know, like how...
A drug trip. No.
Drug trip,
Sure, yeah.
I mean, I believe that was like sort of him realizing what actually happened, whether that was the drugs that kind of made him put Sonny there. I don't know. We'll see, but... That was a crazy twist.
So do you actually
my
think that
God.
it was Sonny who killed his mom?
I think it was.
I absolutely agree
Yeah.
with JB, and I think it was. And I think, you know, it's going to go down between, like I said, Obi-Wan and Luke Skywalker, teacher versus student, Colt versus Clipper. Like,
Right.
you know, he's going to realize what happened, and then Sonny's going to have to, like, you know, like, no, that was the old me, or this and that. I mean, that's predictions, but we'll get into that later. But
Yeah.
I think pretty much that is probably what's going to happen.
I actually also. Sorry.
No,
Go for it, Ant.
I just want to say I actually hope it was Sonny, because that makes everything so much more interesting, and I can't wait to see how that plays out and goes down.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I don't want it to be Sonny. I was just taken aback because the way that it was set up, I was like, oh, so Quinn's going to show up because one, I just want to see his face
Right.
again. Two, because it just seemed like it was setting up. But as soon as we saw Sonny's face, I was like, oh.
Here's my problem.
Oh, here we
The
go.
weapon, when it pierces his mom's chest, does not look like Sonny's weapon. Like, the image we've had for a very long time is a fine point, kind of long, almost
Yeah, his
Q-looking weapon.
Yeah, correct.
Sonny's blade is huge. It's got rings on the end. It would definitely have created a much larger gash in the chest.
No,
That's Moon's weapon
That's
that
Moon's
he got.
weapon that he took from season...
pretty recently. Yeah, his new sword is
new sword.
different.
So this could be an older sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay.
it was back in the day. So
But the sword we see in the long shot, though, when the reveal of him is a much broader sword than what we're seeing.
I'm gonna
Pierce
leave
the
that up
mom's
to
chest.
studio.
It's one of those twists where I wouldn't even be surprised if the initial dream is different from the actual reality. So he dreams about it one way. Next thing you know, it's actually Moon who did it with the blade,
Oh,
and then the face
that's
changes.
right.
Totally.
Because
There
if
you
it's the
go.
same blade, right? You don't necessarily know, but I mean, those riders are
questions.
just gonna
Right,
keep us on our
right.
toes.
But it would make sense to do it that way because the
Exactly.
fact that the only person you can think of would be Sonny since he was the best Clipper, but maybe he wasn't the regent.
Whoa. Sorry, Latoya just said it was not a dream, that he remembers everything.
remember.
Okay, so then it was definitely Sonny.
Oh, yeah.
I love that she is in the
Oh, man,
chat.
I love
Latoya,
that.
I'm gonna DM you on Twitter.
We're all like
all
speculating
down.
and stuff.
She's like, no.
Yeah,
No,
that's
this is what's
She's probably
happening.
like sitting at home.
Boom.
All right, you guys.
Excellent.
Let me just set it
Excellent.
the course.
Well, no, I'm glad we had that
Yeah,
confirmation.
course.
Hopefully, obviously, the fans can kind of confirm that.
I mean,
Uh,
fans,
so
you are
pumped.
in a treat right now.
Right.
So
No, for
definitely
real.
tune in
Exactly.
every week. Leave a
How
comment.
awesome is that?
and, you know,
Well, no,
yeah.
because I mean,
Yeah, of
when
course.
clearly he just like shot up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so I didn't know
you
how,
Yeah, of
how
course.
truthful it was.
Exactly.
For
Yeah, of course.
But I'm glad we've confirmed that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The best.
I'm just like, ah!
Nice. Well, I can sleep at night.
It hurts. But yeah, so I'm intrigued to see where that's gonna end up.
Right, and
because-
as Anthony said, I mean, it just sets up so much like that to look forward to, and just
He's gonna be
like
so angry.
now the brooding MK, like that's gonna.
He's been brooding for 3 seasons.
Right, but
Poor
now he's
kid.
got like a specific
unleash
thing
things
to
to
be
brood about.
Final
to be
showdown
brooding about. Yeah.
Nice,
MK
Tony.
and
Also,
Sonny.
also, this could be the possible events, as in like this knowledge can be the turning point where he actually starts being okay. I wanna fight alongside the
Right,
widow.
Yeah.
right, yeah, and like motivation to maybe stop smoking.
The path to
peyote
the
as
dark
much.
side. Path to the
Yeah.
dark side.
Exactly.
Exactly. You know.
I mean,
Yeah.
dark side? I don't think so. To me, this is much. It seems more Shakespearean in nature. The idea of like maybe Hamlet, you killed my father, and I trusted you, and
I trusted you.
My mother's dead, and I'm like on this whole journey of like trying to figure out like who did what, and was I responsible for the deaths, and like where is the line there? I really feel for MK right now, especially with the suicide attempt and now learning this truth. I just feel like we've got a lot longer of a dark spiral with this kid.
I know, and it's fine because I want to see that redemption come up for him. Which I'm hoping will be when Sunny kind of like not knocks sense into him, but the fact of like this was a long time ago. I didn't know who you were or who your mom was. I was following orders, like that whole spectrum, and then him saying like, that was my mom, and just going through just all those kind of crazy emotions would be really cool. And hopefully he will mature from that and then be a better fighter, warrior, whatever person, anything like that. It's just I need that end of that arc for MK because I feel like he's been kind of writing it.
I feel the same way about the Widow. Like her whole storyline has been freaking nuts.
Oh yeah.
But through season 2 to now, the distance
takeover.
she has, just the distance she's left from the person we knew. Like that season 1 fight at the end, the finale, was so epic and so emotionally important for her. The idea of like freeing women and bringing people in and being a leader of a nation, especially at war, requires a lot of difficult choices and a lot of sacrifice. But man, like women are being slaughtered a lot. Your turn, your most trusted advisor has been like, deuces, I can't deal with this anymore. I feel like at this point it would be a good time for her to stop, look around, assess. But she is very on a one-track mind, and I'm concerned as to how far off her original path she's going to fall to try to win a war. Like at the end of the war, if there's nothing there for you, if you have no people to support you, the war was fruitless, and I'm afraid that's where she's going. And I really love her, and I would like her to go back to being like, yay, women, I'm empowering all of you. She hired a man as her regent. Like, look, I love Moon, but I have questions. Okay, that's your butterfly.
I didn't even think about that.
You have really moved far away from your original objective.
Wow,
Right.
I did not even think about that right off the bat. I think she's also just in desperate hours right now because of the fact that she's completely losing it.
He has the experience. True. It makes sense. It's not a foolish decision.
Yeah.
But it just, to me, it highlights, again, just how far away she's moved from.
Right. Obviously, it's a strategic move, though. And I think it's, she's really empowering herself to kind of think outside the box and really what is the greater goal here. And I really like how, obviously, the writers have created this gray area for every character. Like there's no like clear delineation, like evil or good.
Where even like Moon, for instance, like he could be sided with the Widow.
Right.
But next thing you know, like he has unfinished business with Sunny and everyone else. So like,
exactly.
So a lot of it is you could switch sides. Like you never know, because in this time it's like it's almost every single person for themselves and whatever they can use to align themselves against their enemies or for the time being. Because I mean, you've seen people that have alliances in previous seasons and all this stuff which you've never even seen before.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, it's just crazy because every character themselves has their own motivations and sort of they are just in their own mind. So like they do a great job of showing everybody's perspective, so you can like sympathize with everybody. I mean, we were talking about Sunny and MK. Like now they're gonna have a whole standoff. Looks like the Widow and Tilda are gonna have pretty much the exact same thing. There's a lot of like you were talking about Star Wars, like the Apprentice and the Master. Like there's so many moments of that clashing. Even like obviously it's a little bit different, but Moon has his sort of quest to get Sunny and Baiji. Just they're all so like focused on like, okay, I'm on a mission, I'm gonna make like a quick alliance here, like moving forward, and they're all sort of making choices like the best that they have available because there is no clear cut answer. Like there's no like
it's interesting that everybody knows, because everybody knows your kind of like they kind of know your weakness, and kind of like the Widow was playing on Moon's weakness of like, I can get you to the person who took your hand. I'm like, oh, well, I don't do that anymore and all this stuff. But it's just, that's why I just love this show. It's just like the writing is so on point, and it definitely keeps you on your toes, and I'm super curious to see what's going to happen for the rest of the season. But yeah, definitely, I mean, excited for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I just, especially because Joelle and I were talking about this earlier, of how the fact that there's not really like a clear-cut person. Like, everyone has like their flaws and their bad decisions and things like that, but it also adds to their character, which is really, really cool. So that's why when you get that kind of redeeming factor, it's just really awesome to get there. But then when they really hit hard, you're like, well, you kind of messed up, so we gotta work on that. So, but yeah, it's really interesting, especially for Moon, because the fact that one also really shows how like small the Badlands is.
Right.
Because everybody knows everybody. It feels like Cheers. Like, it's insane.
But that's,
everybody knows your name and what you've done to me. Into the Badlands, Cheers edition.
Exactly. A lot of gossip going on. But no, I think that's something really cool and a different aspect this season has really shown, specifically this episode, more so, than last season was everybody was so spread apart and we're outside the Badlands. Like now, like with this Moon scenario, he like was literally feet away from Sunny and Baiji, and like that was such a tense moment. And obviously Tilda as the Iron Rabbit's like right there, like in front of his face, and it's just awesome how these characters are all interacting like directly with each other, and it's such a close tension.
Tilda and Lydia are
and Lydia goes like
wrecking the game with their strategies. Like, one, I'm glad that Moon doesn't know who Tilda is at all. And the fact that we knew that
good thing for Sunny.
Yeah, especially because it could have gone it could have gone horribly wrong. And then Lydia just on top of her stories and things like that. Like, that was so dope. And I was just like, yeah.
Is there a better written woman on television than Lydia currently? I would say maybe what's her name? Claire from House of Cards.
I agree with you on
is a
that.
close they might be neck and neck.
For sure.
And maybe Annalise Keating from How to Get Away with Murder.
Yeah.
But like her path from like silent wife with power to stripped wife with no direct power, but with like fully accessing herself, to losing her son, to like
losing
running
her husband,
in a like crazy bananas, like to trying to save women to like now she owns like a whole like park of people. She's incredible, and I would really like to see her rise to power. And like her father, though, I have a feeling that she's going to become like her father.
Yeah, just not
without the religious aspects, but
Yeah.
that same kind of need and drive to be like, I need to understand what people are doing, so I can play this crazy game of like 3-dimensional chess we're on, and I need to protect as many people as I can. Especially, since the butterflies aren't really around to be doing that anymore.
Right.
Which I was gonna say that I feel like Widow's trying to be this person who has her hand in every cookie jar, but Lydia's already doing that without much effort, which I think is really, really cool.
Because she's powerful.
So when they had that kind of like power play between the two of them, where they were kind of like showing off like who's who, it really felt like Lydia had more control in that situation.
Right. And it's really interesting because they both are very powerful characters, but their motivations are different. Like, the Widow seems like so ambitious in terms of growing her power. Yep. And Lydia like is just fearless. Like, she's already lost everything, so she's able to like rise above all these games in a sense, and just be like completely. She's almost like more of a Zen character where it's like, I will not do any, like, I'm not going to bend to your will because I've literally already, like, do your worst.
Yeah, and she's like I've already gone through this, and Quinn was the worst one to deal with that. Now I'm just like, I'm on my own. I'm not going back to that again. Yeah, and I also, go ahead.
I was just saying real quick, Lydia kind of reminds me of that saying of, like, fear someone that that has nothing else left to lose.
Right, exactly.
You know? Like, she's like the embodiment of that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Those characters are probably oftentimes the most dangerous. So even physically looking, she may not have the skills of, let's say, the Widow, but I mean, for a person who has nothing to lose, they will literally, throw themselves underneath the bus just to get what they want.
Especially as opposed to Sunny, who has everything to lose.
I know, it literally every single thing.
I feel like Sunny has been so crippled at the start of this season because, like, with the loss of, his wife, and I was got to care for this kid who could die at any second, and he has almost zero allies. Like, people are kind of like, I know you. What was our last interaction? I kind of liked you then.
Right.
I'll help. Okay, cool. Sure, why not?
But shout outs to last week for our prediction where we were talking about the gift and how they basically determined that it actually
through the blood.
Through the blood. So it's either, and they talked about how it's probably from Sunny.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and
but
it's gotta be.
But we called it because we're like, he had the pendant. It's probably from his brother or something. And what's going on?
So we just got to get to predictions because now I have questions.
Okay.
Well, I have more questions than predictions.
Well, either way, obviously Moon was able to take Lydia to deal with Widow. Widow, he's whatchamacallit, Badgie and not Lydia, Tilda are taking Sunny to the witch ? To help
The
figure
Mad
out.
Witch, yeah.
I don't know what's happening with
I cannot wait to meet this bitch. Like, I'm so excited. Y'all don't even know I love witches like so much.
No,
and now there's like a crazy one running around.
But I also want to know what type of witch she is,
Yeah.
because there's
She
you
on
know
a
how like in
broomstick,
history,
or
like
she
it could be
like,
like
you know.
it could be something like Wiccan, it could be
Yeah.
something that's like a healer. Like you never really
Doesn't
know what it
matter.
is.
Whatever it is,
So
I'm
excited.
ready.
But yes, so let's jump into predictions because let's just get to it.
Yeah.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
I'm gonna let Joelle go first.
Okay, first I have a question. So Latoya is in the chat helping us
Oh,
out.
here we go.
Somebody asked, they were like, it was Marvin, I believe, who said, hey, there's no love scenes. And she was like, just wait. Who are we hooking? Who are we shipping?
we already technically saw the foreplay of one of them. I don't know if I want to see any more.
I mean,
Especially from Pilgrim and her.
MK is
I'm never doing
clearly
that again. And yeah, and he's been getting some loving too. So
Lydia and Moon. You saw that look. You guys remember
Oh.
that look? You guys know that look. Yeah, they have a pass. They have a pass.
They
Oh,
do.
look at you,
I'll second that.
Maybe that's what Lydia's
Show me
gonna do
the
to. Maybe that's what Lydia's gonna do to.
want it now.
I'll second
Lydia
that.
needs some love. Give her
she
the
does.
stuff.
I can second that. But I'm down with that. But what about Sunny and Lydia? Because she's been taking care of his baby.
No way.
No.
I don't like it. Look,
Dang.
that family has already been so incestuous,
Fair
just from top down. I
a little
can't.
too close.
I'm
It's
done
a little
with the
too close.
What about Sunny and
intermingling of
Badgie?
these
Sunny and
people.
Badgie.
You know what?
That's my prediction.
Sure, I'm
You know
down.
what? My two dads, you couldn't have two greater ones.
Yeah,
Like, if
no,
you were
for
to have
real.
Sunny and Badgie as two of your dads,
Go for
that's
it.
really great. That's supportive. I want to see Nyx and, oh God, what's her name? They were looking
Castor?
at the...
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
I
Nyx
ship
and-
it. I know they're like killing machines, but like I would like to see them go rogue and start killing their masters because those are my favorite storylines.
Oh, that
Run
would
away,
be
be
dope.
Romeo and Juliet together, but stab
Well,
me.
no, because maybe she
Very,
finds
yeah,
out
I know.
that
'Cause Castor's-
that Pilgrim's not
hurt.
going to take Castor to Promised Land or whatever, and so she's gonna be like, "No, he's my lover."
We gotta find a cure.
know.
We're
Yeah.
gonna go to an ashram or something.
But then they're both gonna die Romeo Juliet style.
I
That's
can
just my
see that.
prediction.
I can see that.
my other prediction is that Sunny has untapped powers, and I need to see them.
Oh wait, well we also could get an MK Tilda love scene too, since we haven't seen them in a
Right.
while.
A lot of people in the chat were asking for an MK Tilda reunion. I don't
That's
think.
definitely happening,
Look, I don't like when characters get together, and I know it's not going to work. If you are addicted to something right now and dealing with, who killed your mom, that's not a healthy place to start a relationship. And so, if their end goal, I would not like them to meet right
This is
now.
why Batman can't keep a
know.
relationship.
Oh,
This
real
is
quick.
crap right here.
Never.
Yeah.
Even though he's marrying
Catwoman.
Catwoman in the comic books right now, her dress is
not-
amazing,
not
but it's
gonna
never
work.
going to work.
It's not gonna work.
Yeah, real quick, Latoya did confirm that Castor and Nyx are not siblings. I didn't know that personally.
I didn't think they were siblings. Who
I
thought
thought
they
they
were
were
I feel like
siblings?
we've
I thought
learned
they were
quite a
twins.
bit.
Nice, yeah.
I was like,
This tonight's episode.
I want that to happen. I've been waiting. I've turned on the lighthouse. I want that ship to sail. I want
Yes!
it.
Bring
I
it in
think,
the port.
I think for me personally,
Bring
for
it in.
prediction, like I'm not a huge fan of the love stories. I'm sorry,
No,
but
it's all right,
I'm just waiting for the epic showdown. I know.
I'm missing the fight scenes.
Which
too.
epic showdown that there's so many that are being.
I think it's gonna be
All of it.
MK
All of
versus
it,
Sunny.
baby.
I think this episode really planted the season.
Right.
I think season finale, he's gonna find out, and it's gonna be like I said, like a Darth Vader / Obi-Wan Kenobi type thing. And
I don't want to wait till
speaking
the
of which,
finale.
look
Oh
at
yeah,
your
my
shirt.
shirt. Yeah.
Right? Look at your
Right?
shirt.
Oh, booyah.
So.
I don't know if you can see
So
it.
apropos.
But
Yeah.
definitely, I mean, people in the chat, definitely leave your comments, on iTunes in the chat. Like, I want to hear what your predictions are for the season,
Yeah.
Also, real quick, I
yeah.
think it's, with Lydia being a proposed position of power alongside the widow, I think she might take it, and I could totally see Lydia like working the system and kind of like betraying her, like going inside, infiltrating her system, and then just flipping it right on top of Widow's head.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I
could
see
I
you.
could totally see that happening because Lydia's so like, in a sense, pure of heart. She could totally be like, ooh, I could like totally abuse this. I could
Whoa.
abuse her trust.
That'd be crazy.
That
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
Lydia and Widow. I ship it. Run the country together.
Always.
The mom song, as I saw the teaser for next week,
Right.
they seem to be forming some kind of alliance. How long that lasts, nobody knows. But if I could use a lesbian relationship on this show.
At least one.
We had one last season, but we didn't really get, the lesbian goodness out of it. They were like hanging out. They were like, this person is special to me. And I'm like, but how special?
Yeah, no, I need to know levels. No, I'm with you. I also would like to see a Tilda Widow showdown for sure. To be like, you lied to me and you also tried to kill me. You're going down, bitch. I want that. Anyway,
one more matchup to throw in the mix. A Baiji Pilgrim showdown.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Baiji Pilgrim did say that there was some stuff or even
Azra magic happening.
Moon and Baiji too.
Yeah.
Right,
because they have
unfinished business for sure.
That'll be a tiny one, I feel.
So many possibilities.
Yeah.
And then there's too many fights. Well, I mean, not too many because I want more,
Right.
but like, oh man.
Also, bring me Louis Tan. I've waited 2 full episodes. When is he coming?
That's true.
Ready now.
Yeah, we've been kind of sitting here going, you've been showing us pictures. Why is he not in here?
I follow the Instagram stories, and I want the real story now.
Yeah.
It's time.
So if you don't know who that is, look it up because he's a handsome gentleman. Oh my god. Anyway, so speaking of, I'm gonna let my handsome gentleman say where their Twitters are so that all the Into the Badlands fans can find them. Start on the couch.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, you guys can follow me, JB, everywhere at Hey John Blake.
You can follow me on Instagram at your boy Jay Yang.
And the handsome voice in the booth before I forget.
Oh yeah, hey everybody, my name is Anthony Becerra. You can find me everywhere at TonyBTony_. And Latoya just said that Louis Tan is coming in episode 3.
Yes. Okay.
Oh,
there you
nice.
go. My
Excellent.
queen.
Latoya, thank you so much for joining us in the chat. I followed
Thank
you on
you.
Twitter, so hit me up and we'll DM about how to get you in studio so you can share all of your secrets
And
with
just
us.
watch us
There you
bang.
go.
This was really lovely having you in the chat today.
We learned
Yeah.
so much
Thank you so
in
much.
this
This
chat
is awesome.
room.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be seeing
So
us
do the
fangirl
fans.
in person?
You know?
So.
I'm Joelle Monique. You can find me all over the internet at Joelle Monique. I will be at Ontario, California's Comic-Con. I'm really excited. I've got a Darkwing Duck panel, a Thrawn panel, a Star Wars storytelling panel, and guys, Jason Aaron for Scalped. I'm really excited.
Whoa.
So if you're there, come say hi. I will give the hugs. It'll be a good time.
And I'm Alexis Torres. You guys can find me all over social media at atorres890. I've got a bunch of shows every day of the week this week, so definitely just look me up and you'll find out what's happening. Guys, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you guys next week for episode 3 of Into the Badlands. Bye.
Later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz. See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.